Yeah. Chug, 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 chug.
You're echoey.
I am.
Oh, hopefully that'll balance itself out.
Yeah. So what? Cowboys are on a bye week, so Sandman?
He's been busy.
I don't know. I've hit him up a few times. He's got a standing invitation. I might hit him up, see if he wants to join. A little late, but I think this week is actually in New York, so probably not.
Ooh. He's in the Big Apple.
Yep, the biggest.
The large Mandarin.
The consistent interception?
Right on both counts.
So, official sponsor of my Sunday, Michelob Ultra infusions. Only thing that kept me sane watching the Niners game.
I came across an epiphany. You and I suffer from the same issue. Really good coordinator, really bad offensive head coach.
So, what I'm kind of picking up as far as like the Niners situation goes is we have our run game coordinator is our offensive coordinator. Previous years, it was the passing coordinator and him were both combining to create the offense with Shanahan, so it was a 3-man job. This season, it's this guy and Shanahan, because it's like you see the Shanahan plays at least twice a game.
Oh, hi, Charlie.
The rest of the time, it's just like cookie cutter running plays.
Well, did you know that Mike Singletary has a better winning percentage as a head coach than Shanahan?
Yes.
Which, considering the fact that I am glad his tenure in the Vikings did not last very long, I am so sorry.
And just the same reason why Michael Jordan's sons never went into basketball. You had one really good Shanahan, and I'm sorry it was my team instead of yours that got him.
I see, like, I don't know, I guess I'm a little more lenient, because like those first 2 years, or at least the first year he was there, the team was total dog shit. Like, we recognize not supposed to cuss on the YouTubes, but it was garbage. Like, he finally got some talent in the second season, but like injuries every year, like there's been something that's happened that screwed him over. This season, it's actually him with his play calling. Yeah. And you can see it in his interviews. He's like, "This is on me." So,
just getting too cute.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not one thing, it's another, and it's just painful to watch.
As somebody whose team is coached by Vic Fangio, I sympathize, I understand, and you're not wrong.
Vic Fangio, I felt, his turn was up to be head coach. But
was it though?
Was it?
I mean, it never felt right. It never felt good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. It's just like, oh yeah, you've done enough, and you had a really great season as coordinator, so clearly you're a head coach material.
People who agree with that marry strippers. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, why you got to bring in the Cowboys fans?
Oh shit!
Speaking of which, my father-in-law told me a really horrible joke about the Cowboys, and it's not PC at all. And I don't know.
Was it a Tony Romo winning the Super Bowl?
No, he said. And again, this isn't me. This is my very redneck Mormon father-in-law. Love him. He looks at me and says, "So, this is today. What's the worst part about being a Cowboys fan?" I said, "I don't know, Ed." He says, "Got to be coming out to your dad."
That's Sounds like something I'd expect from your father-in-law.
Thanks, man. And I don't know.
On that note, so football
Anyway, so yeah,
so football. Yeah, we're gonna go down the list of games that happened.
Can we talk about the dumpster fire of the Chiefs this week?
We got to do them in order of the games that occurred, which means we start with Thursday night.
He just wanted to hit you there. He just really
wanted.
This is how we do it every time.
You're on a bye week. It's like the 1 week you'll have. That's not just.
He's having a great.
I don't know. I'm still not sure we won that bye week, so don't you worry.
What did Dalvin Cook get a conscience and demand a trade?
No, like he probably just sneezed and sprained his knee again.
Well, somebody with your sloppy seconds quarterback.
In his defense, no, that was Washington football team.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had Bridgewater.
Yeah.
In Bridgewater's defense, your guys' problems go beyond the quarterback.
Oh no, that is not Bridgewater's doing. That's Vic Fangio. He can't call play to save his life, and yeah.
I think you should test that theory. Just put a gun to his head and like, all right, better call his play.
Right.
Worst that happens is he needs a new coach.
Yeah, right. But who do you get?
Not
that is one conversation that can overshadow so much this season. This is like
right.
Mike Singletary's available.
Just pour a little more salt in there. Get the lemon.
Yeah. Vic Fangio is the Bubby Brister of Denver coaching. And if y'all don't remember, Bubby Brister was a quarterback shortly after John Elway, and it still causes me heartbreak how bad he was.
Look, not everyone can be Jake the Snake level. All right.
He got to an AFC championship game. When's the last time the Vikings did that?
More recently than the Broncos.
No, sir. When's the last time the Vikings went to a championship game? It was what, 98?
Case Keenum. Oh no, that was divisional. So the championship, I'm pretty sure, was what's it?
Mort Anderson.
No, Brett Favre. They lost to the Saints, who then went on to win the Super Bowl.
You mean before the Broncos won a Super Bowl after that? Because
that doesn't really count.
So when you're saying it doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
Not the one they lost the year before with oh God, that was bad. Speaking of which, you think Pete Carroll's time's up?
No, we still got at least another year. Yeah.
He's got, I'd say 1 year without Russ, 2 years with Russ.
Yeah.
The fact that Russ is probably going to be back by week 10 or 11, I think he has at least another 1 or 2 years. Unless they finish real bad this year and faceplant next year with a healthy Russ.
Yeah.
If Russ leaves, though, I still think he gets another year.
Well, and I still say that they are much like the early 2000s San Diego Chargers. Really great team that you just watch slowly trickle away into nothingness and sadness until they get a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also it's just they've had a lot of injuries. They lost a lot of players, and it's just hard to. When they made those Super Bowls, it just really. It was hard to keep that team together, and losing that one to the Patriots, I think, is really what just caused that team to fall apart. Like, if they had won the second one, I think they would have stayed together a bit longer and made another run.
Hold on. Niners fan, is that true? Losing a Super Bowl tends to have a team fall apart. 'Cause my team won after that. I'm just saying. It wasn't Peyton Manning doing his Von Miller, but how's that feel?
Painful, but, not wrong.
Yeah.
I will say, like, it's an odd sampling for us because you had so many injuries that year after. But it's like we're still I feel like we're still recovering from the injuries of 2020.
To be fair, a lot of people are still recovering from 2020. So,
wait, it's not 2020 anymore.
It's 2020 part 2.
Yep. I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
Reckoning.
Yes, you did. Not the week to go sober.
I mean, speaking of teams that fell apart,
Chiefs.
Yeah. I called it though. I did call it. Super Bowl hangover is real.
We were talking about this, man.
So we're like, oh, they'll be in the playoffs. They'll be fine. Like, no, like I don't even know.
You told me they'd be in the playoffs week 1, man.
I said they might, but then they either lose or they're going to fall apart. But they weren't going to go very far.
They're one of those teams that it's like they're so talented. They have such a good coaching staff. It's like, how do you not compete? Like, get in.
Offensive line, defense. Both are.
And not even that, but I was looking at this and I saw it was Mahomes has, 13 interceptions the last 10 games. And that's as much as Aaron Rodgers has in the last 51 games. The difference is that Rodgers continues to learn. I'm not even a Rodgers fanboy here. Dude's great, but screw him at the same time. But his numbers don't lie. And I think the difference is that he's actually adapted and changed to his game, while Mahomes is kind of a one-trick pony right now, and the league's figured it out.
It's not even just that, though. Go ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
sorry. Well, just kind of the vibe I got is so Reed, his quick throws are screenplays. He's a vertical attack dude, so he needs to buy time in the pocket. Mahomes can do that, but he has to do it scrambling. They thought they rebuilt the O-line, but all he did was replace aging players with aging players. So it's not any better.
Yeah. Well, but it's also you look at a lot of the plays that they made in the last few years, like how did they do that? Aren't going their way. The bounces aren't going their way. People are dropping passes they've normally catched in before. He's missing people who normally he'd like nail. So it's just something's off.
To quote that fantastic Keanu Reeves movie, he's hearing hoof prints there. Ever since the Super Bowl, you get a blindside rush on Mahomes, and he panics. It's not that same confidence he had.
Yeah. Which again, it's the Super Bowl hangover. It's a real thing.
It is.
No good reason for it, but it's real.
So in that case, how good are the 1990s Buffalo Bills?
I mean, either they were really good, or just the rest of the AFC that week they made it 4 straight.
Fair enough.
And then with that too is Mahomes not trusting his receivers since that Super Bowl? Like how many drop passes in their hands they dropped in the Super Bowl? He made some crazy play happen and they just drop it.
Yeah, but also they're doing that this season too.
How much did they miss a running attack?
I mean, yeah. It's there's a lot of things going on. It's not, and everyone try to pin on Mahomes. Just the same people try to pin all the Super Bowls on Brady. There's a lot of factors going on.
True. I'll pin mine on a Garoppolo, but we'll get to that.
Jimmy G.
It hurts me. He's so beautiful.
Suppose the guy's gonna retire and become a model.
Yeah, but I posted the question too in our little doc. Like, the Titans, are they actually good? Because they fought toe to toe with the Bills, smacked down the Chiefs. So it's like they're kind of like in that top 3 AFC, right?
Titans are 10 years too late. The team is really good, but would go all the way a decade ago.
Oh yeah, they'd be dominated if we go back a decade ago.
So are they really good? Yeah, I'm gonna give it to them. Their defense has stepped up. They're number 2 and 3 in the league in pass and rush. Henry has been running over defenses. Tannehill doesn't have to win the game, and that's when they're good. When Tannehill has to win the game, you roll the dice, man. He's a wide receiver out of college, last I saw.
Yeah, but I mean, also it's like it's still hard to say because, so yes, they were thrashing the Bills, but then the Bills almost came back. But then after that, it's like, okay, so they beat the Seahawks, who are 2-5, Colts, who are 3-4, Jets 1-5, Jags 1-5, and then the Chiefs, who are 3-4. So out of everyone they played, they've lost to the Cardinals and they lost to the Jets.
The Jets, that's got to be a fluke, though.
I mean, yeah, but it's so out of all the teams they've played, beaten, only one of them has a winning record. So it's still kind of like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, to me, they're kind of like the Buffalo Bills of probably, like, say, 2 years ago, where you don't know what you can get per week. You do know, hey, you stop the run, you make Tannehill try to beat you. Chances are they might lose because you're going to wear down their defense.
Like, if you get them into an early hole, you've won.
So Dalton, what I'm hearing is you and I, as Utes fans, need to transition to Titans fans because that's what we have been watching for years.
I mean, I got enough of that with the Vikings.
Yeah.
The only difference is the Vikings are that weird phase the Utes went through and like, oh, they finally have a passing attack, but then their defense is just blowing it. So same thing.
Oh, back when we didn't have a secondary. Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I mean, I would put the Titans as like as of this week, they seem like the front runner in the AFC, but that's been changing like every 2 weeks. So
I'd say they're up there. I'd still put Bills higher, even though like they beat them, but they were coming back, and they're a little more together team. Like, you could put the game on Allen's shoulders.
Plus, it was like a Monday night game. It was, if I remember, it was raining pretty bad. It was like that happens sometimes.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, talking about the rain.
Yeah.
We can move on to the Washington Packers game, which kind of ended the way everyone kind of expected. I picked up Packers defense.
I was thinking about that first week with the Packers, and I think that it was Aaron Rodgers' message to the team saying, "Round and find out. Play stupid game, get stupid prizes. You don't want me? Watch this."
Yeah, it does feel like that.
Let me play like Love real quick. I control this team.
Yep, he's got him by the short hairs.
Yeah, he does.
Not wrong.
We'll find out what happens next season because, like,
that's what this season's all about.
Wow. Yeah. Because he has the opportunity to be like, "Look at me, I'm amazing, and I'm leaving."
So is he going to be a spiteful ex?
I mean, yeah. What quarterback in the NFL is it?
No. What I'm saying is that are the Packers going to give in and be like, "All right, dude, listen, we're all in here. You're great. We're sorry," or is he going to say, "Hey, guys, I'm out"?
I think he's gonna leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have to do a lot to get him to stay after this, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the GM also has such an ego.
Mm-hmm.
It took a full-on holdout for him to say, "Okay, we'll sign a veteran wide receiver you like."
And then you get Randall Cobb, which
Rodgers likes, but still.
It's like, I want to cash that 2018 Magic.
Yeah.
2016?
I mean, I will give Washington credit for one, Terry McLaurin. 7 receptions, 122 yards, and touchdown. He's amazing. And they were in it up until probably the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
So how about this? Assuming there's nothing like any crazy trades this year, because really the only crazy QB trade we could possibly see is maybe Watson going somewhere. Where do you think he would end up?
Miami.
Are you talking Watson or are you talking Rodgers?
Rodgers. Where do you think Rodgers would end up?
Oh, you said Watson.
No, I said because that's the only other.
Other than Watson.
That's the
other than Watson, where do you think Rodgers would end up?
I could see him end up with the Niners.
I could
'Cause one, he's a
see.
fan, and two, they called him in the offseason. Hey, what do you
Yeah.
want?
But he hates it out there, from what I hear. I could see him playing in Pittsburgh or possibly in Denver at the right trade.
I don't know about Pittsburgh, man. The Pittsburgh one seems because
Eh.
unless Big Ben retires, which he might. I don't know if.
Hold on. Let's look at the Tom Brady model. I'm going to go to a team that has offensive weapons and a solid defense. You tell me where Pittsburgh doesn't fit that model.
I'm not saying that Rodgers want to go there. It's that I'm not 100% sure that the Steelers would drop Ben for that.
You mean that they wouldn't sell Rapisburger up the damn river for Rodgers and a Super Bowl?
It's
The
Tomlin, man.
Roonies would kick his ass out of the building in a heartbeat to get Rodgers.
I
in a
am not
Super
so
Bowl.
sure about that. I'm not. There's just something that tells me, and also not only that, it's. Do you think that Rodgers and Tomlin would be able to mesh well enough? Because that's the other factor there.
At this point, if Rodgers had that communication of, look, I get it. You're going to run the D. We're going to talk O and scheme, but let me do my thing. I'm pretty sure at this point in his career, Tomlin would have that release of ego to say, okay.
I would hope so, but I'm not confident. There's just something about the Steelers situation that doesn't seem like where he would end up. Like, I think the Denver one makes more sense to me.
Denver
I
makes
could
sense.
see him doing Indianapolis.
Yeah.
With as well as Wentz has done this year, though.
But it's also, that's assuming that A, he keeps it up, and B, he stays healthy.
Exactly, and that's that wild card there.
Yeah. So,
I could see Seattle making a trade.
yeah.
Yeah.
A Wilson Rodgers trade with some picks.
I could see that. I could actually, I could
Swaps.
see him going Las Vegas also.
Yeah.
Quarterback trade plus some getting a pick swap. I could see the Texans being like, "We'll pay you all the money we have in salary."
Where that
I doubt he'd go
oil
to
money.
the Texans. Yeah, I doubt he'd go to the Texans, but I could see the Texans.
yeah.
Because at this point, like it's.
payday.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing: he doesn't need money. He's not. The dude has so much money. He's in that phase of, it's.
He's
So
like, I don't
That was
pay
that
me
was
the
a
league
joke.
minimum. Get me that championship.
But that was a running joke. I think it was 2 years ago. It was when he was dating Danica Patrick because he spent over $1 million on a house in California, and they were saying that was it. That was like his bank load. He was just trying to keep up with her.
I'm like, I mean, the Niners would make sense. I could also, honestly, I could conceivably see Washington trying to make a run for it.
I don't think he would touch Washington with the PR tent pole right now.
That's the only
That would be what
It depends on the status of that. But like as far as like a team fit situation, that's
goes.
not a horrible place to take over. Like really look at the team. They have some great tools.
They do.
They have a solid defense. They just really need better quarterback play to really boost that team.
Yep.
I mean, Ron
Carolina's
Rivera
another
coached
good team.
Cam Newton to a Super Bowl. So
Yeah. Well, like speaking of, like I could also see Carolina trying to go for him.
yeah. I
You
mean,
get some pieces. You get
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers and McCaffrey on the same squad.
and one would be injured.
But
I'll let you pick which one. And then we'll play
I
team
think that could be
MVP.
perfect for him because think about this. It's like so part of the reason why like McCaffrey keeps going down is he is their offense now. But you
Great
can
deal
no
of
longer
offense.
sell out to stop McCaffrey if you have freaking Rodgers.
Right?
Or maybe we just see something happen and Tennessee goes bonkers and picks up Rodgers. That would be wild. Then I would think Tennessee is like number one team in the AFC now.
I'd be like, all right, Vrabel, you learned under Belichick. You can do the GM thing. Let's do this.
Yeah, they're just,
we'll move to the next one. The Bengals smacking down the Ravens.
as impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, injuries aside, Burrow had a solid game. Mixon stepped it up in the fourth. And Lamar didn't deliver, which is rare for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so the Bengals defense stepped up at that point, and the Ravens defense, I feel like, is not as good as it used to be. Like, their corners, even though they're big names, like I don't know if they don't fit the scheme or they just...
They've had a lot of injuries in the secondary, too. I know you empathize.
Yeah, that's a running theme for the league.
Yeah.
But the Bengals are also like their team suited for exploiting your secondary. They have 3 really, really good receivers with Burrow, who can make some great passes. And then they have a running back who's like strong enough that you can't just you have to respect him as a runner. And so that makes it really hard where you can't just stack the box and beat through the air or just, double team everyone and just put 4 guys on the line. So,
yeah. You saw Phil Simms say that Burrows is this generation's Joe Montana.
Yeah, and then I heard, I think it was Colin Cowherd's response, no one wants the next Joe Montana. They want the next Patrick Mahomes. They want athletes. And it's I don't know about that.
I want winning.
Well, there's your... First off, that's what you get for listening to anything Cowherd says.
Oh, I don't. I just saw the I get clips. Right.
I mean, I still... It's way too early to make a question on Burrow, because... Again, you look at, I think the Bengals are solid. They're probably in the playoffs now, but it's one of those. You go back 2 weeks ago, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Ravens are the class of the AFC."
Yeah, and I mean, you also got to look at the highest producer on the offense was really Ja'Marr Chase, and he's look number 1.
Yep.
So until that ball gets spread around a lot more, I wouldn't put all the eggs in the Burrow basket.
Which is crazy because between Higgins, Boyd, they have the tools that you can't shut down. If you, double team 2 of them, you still have a great receiver open.
Yep.
But he just seems to really hone in on Chase. That's what he focuses on.
That's who he played with in college. That's who got him a championship. So I always felt that drafting Chase was a great pick, even though I know it was criticized when it came out. Because that's more of a comfort fit for Burrow.
But it still made sense. It's just like getting Etienne for Jags. It makes sense to do.
Yeah. That's why I took, Devonta Smith late.
Exactly.
Definitely. And I mean, I will say, T. Higgins had 1 less reception than Chase. So he spread it around a little bit. But
I do have a feeling Boyd was going to lead sometime this season, if not by the trade deadline. Just because the dude's way too good to be buried number 3 on that depth chart.
Yep. But I'm sure he'll stay there, as long as they want him to stay there, because he seems like a quiet receiver who just plays part. But they could get draft capital for him. He's that good.
Yeah. I said, I think it's more likely he ends up leaving at the end of the season than by the trade deadline, but I could see that happening just because, like I said, they can get some pieces, and right now they seem in the spot okay, hey, we can make a run. Let's fill in what few gaps we have, and let's go for it, guys.
Yep.
Fun stuff. The Bengals lead the division.
I mean, that's because they were in the Super Bowl last time in '88. Yeah,
we all remember that year quite well.
No, sorry guys, I you know me, I geek over stuff like this.
Oh, you're good. I'm fine talking about that here.
Another kind of surprising blowout was the Giants Panthers.
Oh yeah.
25-3.
Yeah.
Darnold
got benched. Yeah.
And well, I guess that wasn't all just Gase. Darnold does kind of suck. I mean, I know it's not that easy, but
it's obvious he probably had some regression during the game, but also he didn't have a supporting running game either.
Yeah.
He needs it, but
yeah. But then that's also one of those they need their number 2 running back to step up because clearly they can't always count on McCaffrey being there.
Yep.
This year for me really highlights the importance of a running game in there. It's what props up Cleveland and Baker Mayfield. It's a lack of one that's bringing down Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Darnold is being textbook. I mean, his first few weeks before McCaffrey went down, team looked good, offense flowed, and he filled in the gaps there. He's not a bad quarterback.
Oh, yeah, no.
He's just not the guy.
Yeah, he's not the guy or that guy that's going to carry the game for you when you need it.
No, but he can be the guy who gets a few moments here and there and carries you along. He just can't be the focal point.
I mean, he'll also have 1 or 2 games where he just goes off and just shoulders a load.
So he's Jake Delhomme down there in Carolina again.
Yep.
There you go. Second coming.
I mean, I was going to just compare him to Heineke, where it's like, they're good for like a couple games a year at least, where they're like, oh, yeah, they actually... Yeah, they're legit. And then the rest of the year, they're middling to bad.
Yep.
I think what I'm probably most impressed with is that the Giants won without Barkley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pettis woke up.
Well, I mean, Jones is another one of those guys where he just has 2 or 3 games a year where he just blows up randomly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's as good as him, but he still has was it a few weeks ago? He had like almost 500 yards or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if it's combined because he's the running game too.
Yeah, that's right. It was 400 yards with a 70% completion percentage against New Orleans.
Yeah, but New Orleans, their D is.
But that's still like.
Massive Jack Hyde.
Yeah. 70% completion rating is a solid stat line for most quarterbacks.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I'm saying he's one of those guys who
he was feeling it.
He has like those handful of games where oh, maybe he's finally turning around, but then you realize no, he still sucks.
Well, yeah, I mean that reminds me of another Ole Miss quarterback, Dak Prescott, when he first came into the league. He'd have those moments, and he's progressed. So, as a young quarterback, you kind of expect to see it.
Question is, I don't think Jones will progress, though.
No, it's a different feel altogether.
He's already hit the plateau. I don't know. It would take probably the coaching staff to get him to that next level. The question is the coaching staff there? And probably not.
I used to hear the same about Brock Osweiler, too. You get guys
we can name a lot of guys like that.
I don't want to talk about your quarterbacks. Your quarterback, oh man, that quarterback room has been a graveyard since Tarkenton left.
Could be worse. We could have been the Browns. You want to talk about a quarterback graveyard?
Yeah.
That's still my favorite picture is someone with the Browns jersey.
Tim Couch on down. Yep.
The best.
Yep.
We'll slap over to Sean Watson's future team.
Miami?
Yeah, well, the next one on at least the list is Falcons but Dolphins.
Yeah. It does seem like he wants to do Miami.
Well, yeah, I mean, their massage parlors are top notch.
I was going to say, probably should phrase that differently, given the topic.
It's a slippery situation. It'd be a mess. Get sticky.
But, yes. I mean, I picked up Patterson, and he's been solid to great since I picked him up.
I think, I tried to pick him up too. I think he beat me to him in the waiver.
Yeah.
Priority.
Which, first off, I need because I am hurting for running backs.
Yeah.
I forgot to update my roster. I had 3 players out, and I still won somehow.
Yeah, we saw that.
And I was like, okay, I'm good with this. Thank you, DK Metcalf, for
I had every player who was playing in because my entire bench, I had 2 guys on IR, everyone else on a bye week.
The last week, I was looking really good. End of Sunday, I was up on Lugo by 28 points, and all he had was Derrick Henry, and I still haven't walked right since then.
Derrick Henry does it. I am pretty happy.
He's a bad man.
Yeah.
He has more touchdown passes this week than Mahomes.
Got him.
Womp womp.
A couple of leagues, I rolled the dice on Kyle Pitts, and that's starting to pay off.
Yeah?
I don't know why people didn't think it wouldn't. Like, Ryan loves his tight ends. Ryan loves the tight ends.
It's the same reason why people don't. Yeah.
But at the same time, without Julio, he's going to throw to his tight end.
Yeah, he is. But it's the same reason why people didn't love Shockey. That just didn't feel like the fit, didn't feel like the guy there. But I'm with you, though.
Yeah, like, I would have picked up Pitts if he hadn't already been off the board, and if I hadn't snagged Kelsey.
Yeah.
I did picked up Tua while I was at it in one league, like last second play.
I paid off this last weekend.
It did.
I'm still curious if it's gonna be a long-term thing, though.
Yeah.
We'll see. Because there was talk, I think, that if the Watkins trade happens and he goes to the Dolphins, if the Dolphins intend to play him, that he may be put on commissioner leave. And then the Dolphins wouldn't be able to play him.
Oh, yeah, no, like I don't think if they trade him, Watson will play. But it's still one of those, like, Tua still just... I don't know. He still seems just too inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean, he's a rookie still. Like, this is technically his second year, but he played injured last season. It's coming off injury this season. Didn't they hire him too? It's
had a body of work to see.
Yeah. But it's also one of those, like, this is really almost kind of a holdover from college where he got hurt and who was it? Hurts took over for him, and where it's just one of those, like, I have a feeling this might just be how it is for him, where he's always getting hurt, has great games, and other, like, awful games, and just a roller coaster of a QB.
So, okay, you mentioned something. It reminds me of something. That year, you had Jalen Hurts, Tua, and Mac Jones all in the same quarterback room. Who the hell would have thought we would have seen that at Alabama? Don't get me wrong. Those guys can go 0 and whatever for the entire year. I wouldn't care. Couldn't happen to a nicer team. But damn.
Yeah. But it's also, what's interesting is, while they've had moments, so far out of all of them, the only one who's really seemed consistently good is Mac Jones. And even that's still kind of like...
He's not
Hurts
the guy.
has been... He's great he's good running, but he has not been a great passer this year. Tua's been all over the place, and Jones has been serviceable, but he's about what I expected of an Alabama quarterback in a New England offense.
Yeah.
Which is funny because a lot of people are saying, like, oh, yeah, I think this when we finally see the Alabama quarterbacks change the narrative of them just being system guys, but still waiting for that narrative to change.
I mean, Mac Jones just fits that Patriot system better.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just pocket passer. And that's all they need. They just need a guy who can complete those throws that they set up and call it a day.
Yeah, like, I think that was the best place for him to end up at.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of, I mean, was anyone surprised by... I think the only thing that was surprising was that they actually scored as much as they did.
Yeah. Well, with Damien Harris kind of coming out, like...
Yeah.
New York Jets defense isn't there, which is depressing under Saleh, who's, defensive guy.
Yeah.
But how it is.
It's the way she goes.
But has the Jets defense ever really been there?
Mhm.
I
And
mean,
maybe sometime in the 60s or
Rex
40s.
Ryan's there.
yeah, Rex Ryan, I think, is the last gasp they had. Well, Dalton, they hit a couple of AFC championships in a row there. You know, those championship games that y'all can't ever seem to be consistent with.
Oh, yeah. I know we can't consistently do well at them. Because Vikings are never good enough to not have to rely on their kicker.
Yeah.
But enough about that, because honestly, it don't matter.
Speaking of which, am I the only one here who's consistently impressed with Justin Tucker out there?
Yes, or not the only one.
Yeah,
I'm
you're not the
also
only one.
impressed with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he's consistently one of the highest scoring kickers in fantasy every year, because dude's consistent.
He got
Oh,
me
man,
21 points one game, okay?
Yeah. Which is nuts, but
I know. I was stoked.
when your kicker's like your highest scored player.
He plays in a dome. It's like, yeah, he's gonna be a top performer.
I think it was he was the guy I saw, some dude who does science YouTube videos, and it was like, I'm going to see if I can build a robot that can kick as well as a kicker, and that's what he had Justin Tucker doing with it. And I think Tucker like maxed out around like 67 in a dome with like, no one rushing. The robot beat him. Like the robot was like hitting him for like 70 odd yards, but still, it's like the dude was keeping pace with a freaking robot. Speaking of keeping pace with robots, Raiders and Eagles. I don't know how that relates.
No.
I just
I thought at the beginning of the season that the Raiders would be better without Gruden.
I'm not that surprised by it.
No.
Yeah.
Gruden's that team builder guy that has to have that culture that goes his way or it doesn't work. Gruden got lucky when he got traded to Tampa, and there's a reason that the Raiders kicked him out.
Yeah.
I think Al Davis, may the Crypt Keeper rest in peace there. But he saw through the BS at Gruden, and then Mr. Can't Afford a Haircut, Chucky, just had that love affair with Gruden, and Mark Davis brought him back, and he shouldn't have.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also telling that he went to Tampa, won the Super Bowl, and then it just immediately fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he had a team built by oh god,
was it Dungy?
It was Dungy.
Yeah, it's Dungy's team. I remember that. But yeah,
I feel bad for the Raiders because they, for the last like 4 years, they just have felt like, okay, we just need that one more piece, like just one more something to take us next level, and then just it does not pan out for him.
You know what it's done? It's turned Derek Carr into that kid that plays his Little League game, and his alcoholic, abusive stepfather isn't there at the sideline glaring him down, and he actually hits a home run and wins the game.
I got nothing against Derek Carr. I'd like to see at least one of the Carrs succeed in the NFL, especially after the horrible beating his brother took with the Texans.
I'm just saying history's not on your side. There was a point that there were 2 cars in Ohio, and they crashed into each other. There's been 2 cars in the league you're rooting for. One's crashed already.
Yes, but the difference is one of them, other people were crashing into him.
Yeah, and the other one wears too much eye makeup.
And over. He just got Shawshank Boar eyes. It's not his fault. He was probably born that way. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right.
Yeah, I got nothing against Raiders.
I got nothing against him either, and I say that as a Donkeys fan. I've had too many years of giggling at him.
I kind of root for him just because, like, when I first really started learning football, they were the LA Raiders. So it was like, LA and then Oakland Raiders. And so then it's like, where I was like, oh, well, I have ties to him because my grandpa was from LA. So he liked LA teams. And then also I have that there's a part of me that likes to like, oh well, they were the Bay Area team that no one around here rooted for, so like, yeah, why not? I'll throw support against them.
Ice Cube's still pissed off that they moved back to Oakland. Okay,
Yeah,
people rooted for them.
But
you don't believe me? There's a 30
County
for 30 about
is
it.
Not a Raider location.
No, it's not. But speaking of LA teams, how about them Rams winning the trade war?
It's into that one. I mean, well, that was an obvious win.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, they're both #1 picks, right?
I will say the Lions have been a lot scrappier than I thought they'd be.
True.
They've been a lot crappier than you thought they'd be?
Scrappier.
No, they're crappier as we thought they'd be.
Oh, no. Like, they're crappy, but it's also what I was like, they've had some close games.
Yeah.
That one was close until the fourth.
Yeah, they have performed better than I expected them to.
Oh, far and beyond.
Part of that's because I had my expectations real low.
Maybe it's because I watched the Lions ruin 2 careers of potential GOATs in their position, and I just hope they always fail now.
You got Megatron and Barry Sanders, and now Stafford.
I have no. There's a part of me that wants to see the Lions no longer be the Mets or the Cubs or one of those just like the place where careers go to die.
I want to see that when they do right by Megatron.
I mean, yes.
I've heard what they did to him like recently, where they owe him a bill. They owe $1 million, and they're like, "We'll give it to you over the course of I think it's like at least a minimum of 2 years, if not it was like 5 years. We'll give you this $1 million we owe you, but you're going to do a bunch of charity events for us. You're going to come to games. You're going to shake hands. Be our mascot.
You're doing mandatory visits of goodwill after we do hard."
I agree with.
I mean, does he have Stockholm syndrome with that?
Oh no! It was I heard him talk about it, and he was like, "I'm not doing it. This is money you already owe me. If you want to make another contract, I'm willing to do that for the community.
Yeah.
But I'm not stepping a foot into this building for that."
That's fair on his part, because.
But whatever, he's got that weed money now.
Cool.
Good for him.
Well. I feel like we could brush over a couple of these. It's like the Buccaneers and the Bears.
We all saw it coming.
Of
course.
There was a fun fact about the Cardinals-Texans.
Oh.
That is a unique score in the history of the NFL.
31-5. Yeah, that.
Yeah, apparently it's never happened before. It's like the 1,601st, as unique score. That's what the only number is.
Fun fact: Tom Brady and Justin Fields, biggest age difference of starting quarterbacks.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And first time that Tommy Boy's faced an Ohio State quarterback in his career.
How do you get so unlucky? Because let's be honest, Ohio State quarterbacks have been easy pickings in the NFL.
I know, right?
I will say, Ertz had a pretty solid outing.
Yeah,
which I could have expected. Kyler's actually developed as a passer. I kind of expected him to be a one-trick guy. So he has tons of weapons. He honestly doesn't have to look at the first guy. He can just go to number 5 if he wants to.
There are some people who think that's evidence that the Eagles are going to start just phoning in and saying, all right, we'll just get rid of clean house and get new people because they got rid of Ertz, and now they're 2-5. So
yeah,
I mean, not necessarily because they have Goddard. Ertz had a heavy contract, and I think it was like so they can make sure they can extend some other guys and probably have better free agency this offseason.
You have to have a competent front office to do that, but yeah. Same time, maybe Hopkins and Watt were just that much more valuable to Houston.
I mean, I still don't know how, the Hopkins one, that's easily one of those baffling That is above Mark Cooper. That's above Khalil Mack. I'm just like
that's one where
Davey
Hopkins
Johnson.
must have had something on the owner and said, "Hey, listen, I'm getting out of this dumpster fire. I'm going to tell everyone about this."
Well, it's like the only thing that makes sense to me is that maybe like Hopkins knew about like the situation with Watson. There's something that made him go, "I want out." Because at the time they actually weren't bad. At the time they were like still a solid playoff team.
Either or Hopkins did something that the owner said, "No, you're out."
It wasn't the owner's call, though. It was Bill O'Brien's.
Well,
he was coach and GM, and he forced him out because I think Hopkins got a little critical, and he's like, "You know what? I don't need you." So he shipped him off to Arizona, got David Johnson because he wanted a running back because of his whole running scheme. But I remember it was like Bill O'Brien built up a massive ego while he became GM and head coach, talking the owner into firing the GM and make him the GM.
Well, in fairness, Bill O'Brien also had a winning record before Watson got there, too.
I mean, he had a great track record, but it's like, how do you not realize how good Hopkins is? Like, he had just come off of a season where he, didn't drop a catch or something crazy?
Yeah.
That would have been like, cutting Drew Brees after he set the record for completion percentage. Like, we don't need you.
Oh god, that was horrible. It was dumb. Like, for David Johnson and his heavy contract.
Yeah. It made no sense. It was and they're getting what they deserve.
I mean, the Texans will fall apart itself because the organization from the bottom up, top down, however you want to look at it, isn't great. When you got your strength and conditioning coach was a guy who went down for PDEs like every year, and then your players start course testing positive for.
Imagine that.
Yeah. No, they're in disarray.
Sounds like a back-to-school or an after-school special.
Go to drugs, kids.
Or if you end up like the Texans.
Yep.
You'll be the Texans strength and conditioning coach.
Speaking of after-school specials, that gets us to the Sunday night game.
Oof, the pain. Yeah, this came down to the QB play. Literally, Eli Mitchell and Jonathan Taylor had the same exact stat line. 18 carries, 107 yards, 5.9 on the average, and 1 touchdown.
Okay, well, I think I want to check this because I'm looking. Wow. So, Carson Wentz only threw for 150 yards.
Yep.
105 of those were to Pittman on 4 passes.
Because at least it was during the game. They said at least it was like 95 yards of offense that they had, which was of course undocumented, came from PI.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's rough.
And the thing is, whoever the DB coach is needs to be slapped in the face. Because the corner has perfect positioning, but for some reason he hugs the wide out. You're there hip to hip, and you're gonna wrap around him.
I have seen that just DB play in general has been trending towards more of that.
Yep.
There are 2 trends I've seen in the NFL that baffle me. It's that, and then also more people more and more leading with the crown of their helmets, which blows my mind. Because I'm I know for a fact that's not something they teach you, from high school Little League. They teach you tackle with your head up. They would do that for decades.
Oh, I missed.
So I don't understand why it's spiking up now. I don't get it.
Because when you do the Naruto run, you feel fast, and so your head's down.
Yes, but why are they hugging the guys? You don't hug people when you do the Naruto run. You have your hands off behind you.
I don't know, man. I'm not an athlete. I'm an overweight dad with a mustache. Don't ask me how people run. I get winded going up the damn stairs.
That's fair.
And just there's so much from like the Niners perspective that it's like it just went wrong. Like you just screwed up. Like Jimmy's sticking with his first read when Ayuk was open the entire second half.
Yep.
And then they're like, Ayuk, you need to play better. He's like, well, he's open. It's just he's running that deep route that Garoppolo won't throw.
But at the same time, y'all only win at Jimmy G. Yeah. He's the girl that brought you to the dance.
Yeah, but post-injury, something's a little off with him.
Yeah.
And it's also showing kind of in the locker room. Less guys have his back.
Yeah.
And it's like noticeable, like you're not the leader you were when we got to the Super Bowl. You're here when we're winning. You're not here to pick us up.
Now I complain when my girlfriend says you're cute.
Yeah. I'm curious to see when they officially move on to Trey Lance this year.
To me, there's 2 points. It's either going to be halfway through the Bears game if they don't get anything on offense going, or the following game. I think we're right there because it makes logical sense not to start him this week because he was out 1 week with injury. He's coming back limited this week, so he's basically missing 2 weeks of practice. He'll be unprepared, and as a rookie, like you can't do that to him. So it makes sense. You're automatically like Jimmy's starting next week.
Alex Smith would argue that they've done worse to rookie quarterbacks.
That's fair. But like, here's the other part of that, though. It's like, okay, so, and this way I'm curious when it becomes a permanent change is, so Jimmy G has been great, but what happens if you go to Fields and he's also not great?
That's more of an expectation. Garoppolo's the veteran who's gone to the Super Bowl. You expect more. Like Trey Lance is a rookie who he's gonna completely lean on his athleticism. Even in the game plan, you noticed against Arizona, they gave him 2 reads. They only had 2 receivers running, and maybe the tight end went out or the running back. Like they gave him very limited reads. So it's obvious he needs to progress in reading a defense as well as going through a progression. So it's like you expect those growing pains out of him, but Jimmy is a vet. Like he's in there because he knows the offense and he should be able to make those reads and the progression. But he wasn't making the progression in the last game either.
Yeah, it's like that's gotta be a weird position because also you want your rookie to get the experience and develop. There's also something to be said that like, okay, if they are really struggling game after game, sometimes it's better, like, okay, if the season's already over, is it better to get your rookie experience at the risk of him getting bad experience and regressing? Or is it just, okay, we'll just stick it out with this guy, get through the year, and then still play him so he gets some experience and then go in next year starting?
I think if your season goes to crap, you throw that plate of spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. You try starting the rookie, you try starting the veteran. You work with them both on the first team, switch things around, play with the stuff you wanted to do because as a coach, worst case is, if you're going to be fired, you probably already know it. Screw it. Have some fun on the way out.
I mean,
Shanahan's not going to get fired.
Yeah, he's not.
No, he's not. So screw it. Have some fun on the way out. Justify it by saying, I knew where we were going. I was tinkering to find out what's going to work better this next year when we have some more draft picks. Let's get some damn weapons here.
But that's just like, so think about this, though. It's if you know the season's a lost cause and both your quarterbacks are doing terrible.
And you're a Vikings fan.
I mean, no, because even when the season's not a lost cause, our quarterbacks are still terrible.
Sorry, man. I had to.
Oh, that's fair because lost cause seasons. I get it. The only thing worse, like the only worst lost cause is the South.
Yeah.
But is it worth risking what is obviously your currently franchise QB if he is clearly struggling and taking a bunch of hits getting knocked down, getting a lot of pressures, is it worth him getting injured when he is clearly who you're going to go forward with in the future, at least probably next year?
No, but how do you stroke that ego?
Just give him some handy. I don't know.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but it's like like I said, Shanahan's going to have another year after this at least. Even if he has a rough year this year, he's still going to be back next year. So that's why I'm like wondering, like, that's a weird. He's in a unique position where, unlike a lot of coaches who are in this position, he's got another year. He has who is clearly his franchise quarterback, but if the franchise quarterback is still struggling really bad, is it better like, okay, you know what, maybe we need to give you another year to develop, sitting behind a veteran, and yeah, the veteran's struggling too, but at least that way you're not risking your franchise QB.
And even then, by getting your rookie quarterback time to play, let's say he goes out there and he just goes wowzers. You know, it's kind of like that Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady type first, second year, where at the end they light on fire. At that point, you can say, okay, fine. I can trade Jimmy G for some actual capital and ride this young horse a bit further.
That's probably the depressing bit a little bit, because it's like basically what you're talking about was like when they traded for Jimmy G, the end of that season, which was a lost cause, and he had, I think, 2 weeks in the playbook.
Yeah.
He lit it up. We won like 4 straight. But then, like, I guess this offseason, the draft capital they were looking at for Jimmy was basically non-existent. So it's like, come this offseason, either Jimmy's got to be okay with taking a pay cut and move into a backup role, or he can move on. And we got Trey and hopefully another vet.
I think you guys will be able to find another team willing to trade for Jimmy G, because
like Houston. Because if you have one backup useless quarterback who's not going to play, you can have another.
Yeah, the reality is at least 4 to 8 teams every year are starting a QB who is backup at best.
I watched it all last year with Drew Lock.
I said backup at best. I don't even think Drew Lock's a good backup.
No, he's not. I would take Brock Osweiler back. And that man built the
Cutler's bloated drunk body over Drew Lock.
Do you know how many Chicago Bears quarterback records he owns?
I do.
I think the most depressing part about that is the Bears are one of those storied franchises over years. There's lore, there's myth, there's legend, and Jay Cutler owns your records. Are you kidding me?
Probably one of the few quarterbacks we've seen who just did not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Come here, kiddo.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey, kid.
Okay. Hi, Dalton.
Hi, Abby.
Good night.
Yeah, like I think there's places you guys could trade him, even if he has an awful season this year.
I don't know, trade partner. I just figured they probably won't get what they gave for him, which I think was a second round pick.
They gave too much, and John Lynch isn't going to make that deal.
Yeah.
Then again, I don't think John Lynch would have made that deal in the first place.
Which I do think, like, before the end of the season, I think Shanahan's going to snap. And snap either in a good way or a bad way. Bad way would be wanting out. Good way would be slapping the offensive coordinator and either saying, I'm going to game plan this now, because the game plan doesn't look the same. It doesn't look right. And I'm like, it only makes sense that his play calling would be off if he wasn't actually making the game plan.
So what I'm hearing is that Shanahan is Mike Gundy.
I think I'm too young for that reference.
He's actually the current coach for Oklahoma State. He has both snapped very poorly and has some very memorable sound bites out there, or snapped very well and the team has soared.
That's what I hope for and kind of expect, because it's either you tell the guy, hey, you need to step down, be running game coordinator again, get another OC in here, or you just can't do this by yourself, and I really got to take over the offense again. Because
do you think it's possible that with your DC being a young and experienced guy, that maybe Shanahan is having to be more involved, and that's distracting him, and that's why he had to dump it off to the other guy?
I do. Because I've noticed with DeMarco, he's making the same mistake Saleh did when he came on. He's progressing faster than Saleh did, given he has a lot more talent to work with. But his play calling at times is like watching a kid play Madden, like a 12-year-old playing Madden. Like you're blitzing
zero blitz.
Yeah, for real. And it's like, dude, it's the 3rd and like 8. Just come with a 4-man rush. You have like one of the best front 4. Why blitz? But Shanahan, early on in his career, he learned as much as he could about defense, so I'm sure he's probably helping out there as well, because that was the like pointers he got from, I think it was like Gruden, his dad, and the Kubiak.
Yeah.
Like learn defenses as an offensive coordinator. So I'm sure he's helping him out more, and I'm sure he's like trying to help this young offensive coordinator come along too, and he's more mentoring than he is coaching. And I made a point with another Niners fan. I'm like, we need more vet coordinators, man. Like,
well, and at this stage in his career, should Shanahan be mentoring like that? I mean, we're not talking. Well, no, I get that. But should you be pulling along 2 other young coordinators out there, other than mentoring? I mean, isn't it the time you want that grizzled veteran on your staff to kind of step in with that people leadership as well?
I mean, I think that was a comment that we made a couple weeks ago about how, like, why they went with a young and brought up an experienced guy instead of bringing in a veteran DC. And it does seem like that decision is coming back to haunt them. Well, that's not to say it was a bad decision in the long run. In the short-term run, it definitely seems like that decision is causing a lot more issues.
This is kind of... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Like, I personally saw that coming, because it took Saleh 3 years to really get it down. And then as soon as he got it down, he got hired. It's like going to be hired somewhere else. But that was my expectation. It was like, okay, we're starting over on defense. He's going to fuck up play calling. He's not going to be able to make the halftime adjustments. Like, they're going to have to rely on the offense. But then you got this young offensive coordinator too, who, same deal.
I noticed ever since McVay came out, the league has put much more of a premium on young instead of experienced.
Yep.
But there's a caveat to that, though, too.
Say what?
McVay has experience around him.
Yeah.
That's the difference. He has the same thing, and so does Kingsbury. He has experience around him.
Yep.
So you just got to focus on what you're good at, and head coaching. You don't have to worry about the nuances of both sides of the ball.
Hell, even Vrabel. And the guy, even learned a bit under Belichick.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm looking to see what happens coming this off season, because either and I hope it doesn't happen, Lynch and Shanahan stay the course, because they've been very loyal to whoever's in house, like ridiculously loyal. And they finally cut that and say, we need to win. We're getting rid of your guy at OC. We can give DeMarco another year, because he's not doing terrible, but he is messing up play calling here and there.
Yep.
Speaking of messed up play calling, how about that Monday night game, huh? I'm sure you're happy about it.
Yeah, of course. Anytime Seattle wins, it brightens me up. I already knew coming in, they're screwed without Russ. And my favorite Twitter comment was, "It's the era of Geno. Let Russ go."
That worked well for the Jets. Well.
Yeah, that's...
if you would have told me 2 years ago that Geno would be starting and Cam Newton would not be on a team, I'd say it crazy.
Yep.
I mean, that's fair. That's really fair, because, yeah. I'm curious to see if Wilson sticks it out next year. I really am. If he leaves, I think Carroll gets. Honestly, I think Carroll gets another year either way. But if he has Wilson and still struggles, I think he gets cut. If he doesn't have Wilson struggles, I think he would then get one more year as like, okay, you're rebuilding, we get it.
Hey guys, I'll be right back.
Do this. Like, yeah. But I do think if he doesn't turn around, he's got 2 years at best.
Yeah. And you can kind of see Pete Carroll winding down. He's not as excited on the sideline. Yeah, the dude's over 70, but like, he vibes completely with the defense. The defense isn't doing well. He's kind of over it. And his defense has been a shell of what it's been. And yeah, without Russ, like, they don't have what it takes to win on offense, because it always took Russ making some magic.
Yeah. Well, not only that, also it's like, because also in seasons past you had Carson, who was just like, oh, Wilson's struggling. All right, we'll just let Carson take over. But even when Carson was healthy, he wasn't doing that, and now he's hurt. So you have was it Penny? You have Dylan, I think it is, or someone. Like they have
Collins,
3 running backs. They have who?
Alex Collins, Travis Homer, and Rashad Penny.
Yeah. So it's
like I don't know why they don't use Homer more.
I don't know.
He's a swift, quick back, which they kind of need. Yeah, Collins is your downhill bruiser. It's kind of same as Penny, but man.
Well, and Troy, they were switching him and Carson out a lot earlier in the season, but then Carson's gone down. They still aren't really, and it's possible also without Wilson, he's not as effective.
Yeah,
so that could be it. But yeah, I don't know. That one's. It's also what I was like. It's looking at the stats for the Saints. It doesn't really feel like it was a 13-point game for them.
No, and I mean, it's not like they had a crazy game either, but like, it was all through Kamara. At that point, you just have to watch Kamara, and they just didn't contain him. 10 receptions for 128 yards and touchdown, 51 yards on the ground. Like,
well, I think like if someone told you Kamara put up 178 yards, 128 them through the air, would you say, "Oh, they only scored 1 touchdown"? No, that's what I mean. Like, it's just, it seems like the Saints really should have dominated that game. Just looking at the stats there,
definitely.
That's what's so weird to me.
Yeah, what that shit is like, kind of 2 pieces. The Saints' offense, of course, isn't too great, and Seattle's defense kept them in the game. But the Seahawks' offense completely ran through DK Metcalf. And you're relying on Geno Smith to get him the ball.
Yeah.
And even then, he got 2 receptions. And he was like their playmaker.
Well, 84-yard touchdown can do that too.
Yeah, that's true. Which broke me in fantasy.
It about broke me.
I didn't need that to be broken in fantasy. Don't you worry. I think the only most positive thing I've had to happen in fantasy the last few weeks is I was able to snag the Buffalo defense when no one was looking yesterday.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that. I don't know how you did that either.
Because I had the Carolina defense and a bunch of people on my bench, and I was like, I need to get a new defense. And I was like, oh, they were off, so there's still a game going on, so they can still be picked up.
Yeah.
They had no one else.
Screw you and the horse you rode in on with that one, man.
Have you seen how my team's been doing? I need something to get going to fantasy.
You beat me. No, wait, no, I beat you this time, didn't I?
I was very scared to drop them. But it was weird to me is that they were on waivers for me, and then you picked them up.
When did you look at it?
It was that day.
Interesting.
I checked that day, and I'm like, okay, they're on waivers. I'll put in the waiver claim once this is done, and then I saw you picked him up. I'm like, oh well.
Yeah, I just looked and it was green. I was like, yeah, okay, all right. I got a bunch of people on bench and 2 guys on IR.
Yeah, well, it's fine. I got Arizona.
Yeah, which I mean, that their defense feels like one of the ones where it's like, okay,
Hit or miss.
they're due for a bad game too. Like they're not going to go undefeated.
No,
That's just way too hard.
Mercury Morris would be too upset if they did that. And for you young kids like Adam there, Mercury Morris was the starting running back for the 72 Dolphins. And he'll still toast champagne when somebody loses.
Well, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one NFL record that I would think will ever get broken.
And I mean, I have a short list of defenses too, so I might swap them out because going into next week, Thursday night, they play the Packers.
Ooh, yeah, that one's going to be rough.
But they don't have Devontae Adams.
Well, I also just saw that Lazard joined him on the COVID list.
Y'all mean to tell me that we're finally going to have a Thursday night game worth playing and not just some BS where we're going to have 2 opponents that don't really matter. Yes, I say that about my Donkeys this year too.
I mean, but not necessarily because it looks like they're going to be down both Adams and Lazard.
Right. We both know that the NFL rigs games, so...
Well, they're on the COVID list.
Yeah.
So, Rodgers... What, you think Rodgers and Cobb is going to carry them?
On paper?
Tanyan might step up. Also, Aaron Jones. As long as Aaron Jones doesn't end up on that COVID list, like, he's dangerous out of the backfield catching passes, so...
Yeah.
He is, but... Man, he did not do all that great last week, I feel like. I know he didn't do much for me in fantasy.
No.
Yeah, 6 carries for 19 yards.
Yeah. But let's see. But yeah, Rodgers threw 35 times. So they were just all air attack. But they probably limited snaps on offense. Like,
well, I mean, he had 5 catches for 20 yards as well.
that's just that means probably for the PPR leagues, like, Aaron Jones is going to be a really nice play.
I hope so, because I would like to end this 5-game losing streak I'm on.
So, okay, an odd thought kind of just hit me. Jordan Love was a bit more of a mobile quarterback, yeah? But do you think the Packers drafted him like they did to kind of set up a Montana and Young kind of scenario?
I think they were trying to recreate the Favre Rodgers.
Love is not one of those guys to replace
I'm not saying he's going to, but I think that was their idea. Like, we're going to draft him. He's going to sit for a while until Rodgers is finally ready to step away, and then he'll just take right over just like Rodgers did. That's what they were hoping for. But because they didn't talk to Rodgers, it made him kind of pissed at them, and it just blew up the whole situation, and it's just gone downhill for him.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think Love is as good as Rodgers out of college. So there's
he's not.
Should we just quickly go through the other games upcoming?
Yeah, I mean, following on the list, Panthers Falcons, which is probably gonna be another crapshoot, or the Falcons will just destroy them because for some reason the Falcons can put points on the board.
I hope Patterson goes off, but I don't think I'll be that lucky.
Yeah.
No, there's no dirty bird flying this weekend.
I mean, it's Panthers though. It's like who? Yeah, they.
Wait. Is it in Atlanta or
It's
Charlotte?
Atlanta.
Oh, in that case, the Panthers will win because Atlanta likes to crap the bed at home.
Atlanta just likes to crap the
You know
bed.
what that's like?
Yeah.
I haven't won a game since in over a year at home.
No.
Although, in their defense, last year really was kind of an asterisk when it came to home games.
Yeah.
I think that's something everyone forgets about. Be like, we had it was our second string QB, but really he's like a fourth string QB, and but everyone else was just bad.
But also, the only home field advantage was you didn't have to travel as far. That was about it.
Yeah. Should Hotlanta move their practice facility to their parking lot where Georgia Dome used to be, so that way they can play where they actually used to win?
No, because they'll still probably find a way to lose. All right, Titans Colts.
And the Titans should win. But
I mean, they should.
and
last week too, like the Colts are getting a little hot here, especially if the Titans can't stop the Colts running game, because then Wentz just has to make plays when needed. But
and Wentz has actually looked like the Wentz of old the last couple of games.
I
if
don't
he
think it's
stays
the
on that
Colts running
trend,
game. It's the
okay.
Colts passing game they got to worry about.
Yeah,
because if they can stick with the tricky RPOs,
yeah,
yep,
and that's the thing. The Titans are not built to, score a whole bunch of points to catch up. If they fall behind, that basically takes Henry out of the game. Really.
Yep.
I'm hoping that the Bills just absolutely demolish the Dolphins, because they could really use another 23-point game from their defense.
They should.
They should.
big should. But
also, granted, they should have put up a better fight against the Titans for the first part of the game.
Yes and no.
That one.
Those are two teams that, I might put the Bills a little bit ahead. The Titans, they're still really in the same level. Just one's a little closer to taking that next step than the other.
Yeah, but the first half of that game, it really felt like, the Bills are just going to get demolished. They were getting thrashed in the first part of the game.
Yeah,
and that's what I mean.
But that's why
it's the other way. Yeah, sure, okay.
Well, that's why third quarter is always my favorite quarter to watch, because you can always see who's actually going to win.
Yeah, after this halftime adjustments,
yep,
a lot comes out. And the Bills are one of those teams who can make adjustments at halftime.
Yep.
Dolphins a little too young. I mean, they made those adjustments to get the Falcons last week. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm also it's Falcons.
Yeah.
This one.
The Bills are favorited by 14.5.
Whew.
I have a feeling that's going to be a similar stat line, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what's the stat line on that one, because
unless Joe Flacco shows out,
I will never, ever, ever, ever understand why the Broncos picked up and paid that man.
Okay, to pick him up to be like your third string mentor, your young guys, sure.
Yes, but to be your starter?
No. No, that doesn't make sense.
But off to Delaware with you instead of Russia.
Oh, interesting. Hang on, where's the... Wow, the Bengals are almost as heavy favorites as the Bills are.
Where are they playing this week?
That's not surprising.
Jets.
Jets.
Yeah. Did I see Zach Wilson got injured?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's out, what was it, 2 to 4 weeks with a PCL strain?
I mean, obviously his upstart style there has... Oh, God, I can't even raise that much fake muster for a BYU grad.
Yeah, I can't. Especially not one that was so full of himself.
Yeah. Oh, not in Utah. No, never.
A lot of people are saying, "Oh, why did they go for Flacco?" It's like, okay,
because
clearly
he'll be
the
soaking.
Season's lost cause. So it's just okay. He's a quarterback to fill in, and then once Wilson's back, he's now that veteran presence to mentor him. So
with that same question, why not go for Kaepernick?
Because that is a political minefield right now, even if it shouldn't be.
Oh, so you mean the Jets, like Wilson, are just soaking in it?
I mean, you say that, but let's be honest. I guarantee you that kid has gotten past soaking at this point.
Scout camp made sure. Anyway,
Steelers Browns.
Toss up.
That is a toss up, yeah.
It depends on how healthy the Browns are.
Are you gonna have?
Oh god, I'm so hopeful that Chubb comes back.
Yeah.
I've been missing him. I have him in like 2 or 3 leagues, and it's like, you mean I gotta risk Chuba Hubbard or pick up someone on waivers?
I'll trade you Devonta Freeman for Chuba Hubbard.
I don't know who. Let's see, what's my stable look like in our league? Eli Mitchell, Chuba Hubbard, Chubb, Robinson. Which isn't bad.
Yeah,
No.
that's not terrible. You could do worse. You could be like me.
Yeah. I do have AJ Dillon and Ty Williams, who I should do something with.
Hey, you know, I guess I could look at mine, but I just don't want to right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll be honest. Fantasy football is like down on my priority list.
But why?
So you're living your best life.
No, it's D&D for football geeks. I get that. I kind of love that.
It really is.
It is.
Speaking of D&D, Eagles Lions.
And Cleveland is a 3.5 point favorite.
I was gonna say I'm gonna give Cleveland a 3-point win on that one just because I want to, bet against a rapist. It's kind of what I did last election. Anyway,
hedging your bets.
Yes, Eagles, Lions. I take the Eagles because they won a game.
right?
Except for the Lions are bound to win at least one game.
So it is
I
a
think
3-point difference. with the
Jared
Lions.
Goff is going to have his SoCal hissy fit, and they're probably going to get their first win.
Yeah,
It is in Detroit, so
it's in Detroit,
Yeah.
and the Eagles have not looked strong.
Well, and I've said this since he was in college. You pressure Goff, and he can't do it, and the Eagles don't have that pressure to do it. So, if you got a chance, kid, here you go.
I mean, but it's like the thing is, the Eagles have had they were pressuring Brady when they played the Bucks. Like they were pressuring Brady better than the Bucks.
That's because it's hard to run with a Walker.
Yeah, but with the receiving core he has, he just has to throw it in the air and someone's catching it.
that's true. And
Yeah.
Goff is about as mobile as the old man Brady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
So,
looking like a poor man's Ryan Goff or Ryan Gosling.
It's called So yeah, I don't know. I would lean with the odds and go the Eagles, just because Hurts will make some plays happen. He'll, maybe like 2 touchdown game. They'll probably just be enough.
Yeah. That one seems like the Eagles defense should get to Goff enough to win it, but honestly, I don't know.
I
That
see
one's kind of-
Goff having one moment, if I can talk today, sorry, long day. One moment of brilliance this year, and that could be against the Eagles, and that'd be really it.
Oh yeah, I don't think he'll have really many, but
If it's not the Eagles, it's the Bears.
The
Well,
Bears.
They have a good.
honestly, I could see him beating the Vikings.
Yeah.
They also play the Broncos and Falcons this year too. So
Yeah, I could see that happening too because Vic Fangio needs to go.
let's see. Speaking of, shout out to whoever has the Rams defense against the Texans this week, because that's probably going to go really
Shout
well in
out
your
to
favor.
Anyone with a Ram against
Yeah,
Texans.
Cooper
Cup.
he had
I have
Monty
their
last week,
tight
yeah.
end, and he does better
Yeah.
every now and again.
yeah. Cup went off for like 156 yards. Do you think he'll get more or less against the Texans? Right?
I'm gonna go more.
But it also could be one of those like the Texans are like, all right, we just got to like triple team Cup, so then Woods is the one getting all the yards,
Yeah.
or they just run over him with Henderson,
Yeah.
Fair.
or their defense just scores a bunch of touchdowns and they don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
On that note, Niners Bears.
Painful. Painful.
I think you guys are the favorites just because.
Is Fields going to throw 3 more picks and have 3 more fumbles?
I mean, a man can dream. 'Cause that's what we need.
Who will be worse? Fields or Jimmy G / Lance?
So I think the Niners should win because I think Shanahan's getting fed up. So either Jimmy G performs or gets benched for Lance, and they just run all over the Bears. But yeah, and all they had to do was disrupt Fields.
Yeah.
And block Mac.
Fields hasn't shown anything crazy either in previous games, so
No.
which
You guys should
makes
win
me
that.
laugh. Yeah, which makes me laugh because like a lot of top comments were like, "Look at Fields with the Bears. We could have had him instead of Lance." Like,
I'm
In
looking at it,
preseason,
seriously?
sure, maybe. No, no. Then again, when was North Dakota ever actually tested?
I mean, but the same, they're a D3 school, but they're consistently a great D3 school.
Okay,
he's-
you name me 3 D3 quarterbacks that have actually succeeded in the NFL.
I mean, people said the same thing about Wyoming quarterbacks.
And they said the same thing about an AFL quarterback from the Arena Football
Yeah.
League, but not everyone's Kurt Warner. Not everyone is going to be Josh Allen.
But if anyone could be a Josh Allen, it could be Trey Lance.
Oh, I'd love to see Trey Lance do well.
Yeah.
I
Like,
hope he does. I mean that legitimately.
Yeah.
It'd be cool, but it's a
'Cause
gamble.
Yeah. But he reminded me a lot of Josh Allen.
Yeah, I
Like
could
when the
see
Niners
that.
picked him, I was like, I think out of all the QB picks, he was the smart one to go with.
Well, but Josh Allen, and this goes back to my Patrick Mahomes comment, has learned to change his game and grow his game. If Lance does the same, cool. I think he
Oh,
can
yeah.
do it.
It's
He's
still
gonna
too
have
early
to.
to tell. He will. Yeah. But
Yeah.
also it's,
It's-
he seems like someone who could do that, unlike, an OSU quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a point they made too. Like he throws the ball too hard, has no touch, and you see with the batted balls, he just throws a laser. He doesn't touch the ball
Which
at all.
sounds exactly like Josh Allen in his first couple of years.
John Elway won 2 Super Bowls doing that. Duh. Actually, at that point, he'd learned touch after losing 3. But,
Neither here nor there.
Speaking of losing 3 Super Bowls, Patriots, Chargers.
Ha!
That segued really nice, actually.
Yeah, I did.
That was okay. I didn't watch any of the games because I was out of town, but did you guys see probably the best? Like the Manning's broadcast, their best comment.
Nope.
No, I missed.
Eli talking to Tom Brady, and they're playing together. He's like, Eli's like,
Please
"Well, I actually
remember-
enjoyed all of my games against you."
I gotta watch that. That's right.
Yeah.
Part of that was like just them roasting Brady.
Yep.
Like,
I remember
They had like the
watching.
2 people who actually have like solid
Winning
reasons to
records
roast
against
him on.
I remember watching that Giants Patriots game, not the Super Bowl, but the last game in the season. And God, that was a good game. Patriots ended up winning, but it just kind of was a precursor to the bowl. And I don't know, it was fun. Says the old man rambling.
what we're here for. But
Depends on which
Chargers,
Chargers shows up.
Patriots. Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Keenan Allen finally makes it to the end zone because he's been solid. He's been getting like 10, 12 points. He's always been projected for like 16, 17. And he's not really hitting those numbers. So
No, he did that last year when I had him too. Is Herbert the guy?
I
He
think
is
so.
the guy. I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it happening. I don't know if it's there yet, though.
Yeah.
He's making strides forward. Yeah, he's made a couple of regressions. But I think he could be the guy.
Yeah. I mean, also, like, didn't they have a different coach last year? Or was that the year before?
Year before.
Year 4, okay. Yeah, it's
Anthony Lynn.
They seem like they're coming together. I'm still not sure they'll be like, the team this year, but next year I can see that things finally click and fall into place for them.
Okay, as a football fan in general, I'd love to see the Chiefs actually get their stuff together and have that divisional rivalry, even though it's not my donkeys, and they'd be, happy to go 2-4 in those 2-team matchups in the year. But at the same time, that kind of divisional rivalry is what we all kind of go for. I mean, when you get those two teams, they're just like, screw it, let's do this. Like the old Ravens and Ravens and Steelers there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The Chargers are one of those teams I've been pulling for to finally figure it out, because they're like the Raiders, where they just have felt so close for so long. You're like, come on, guys.
There's the coaching staff or the coaching staff.
Yeah. But again, it just always seems like every single time you're like, come on, you're right there. That Anthony Lynn, his first year, things start seeming like they're turning around, and they didn't.
Nope.
Yeah. So people's going different ways. Well, actually, okay, who do we think is going to win? Is it a toss-up? Because it feels like a toss-up to me.
I
feel like it should be, but I don't know. I would expect the Chargers to win.
I'd like to see the Chargers win.
Yeah,
but
I really don't know.
If they lose at the same time, would I be surprised?
No.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I'd expect them to win.
Yeah. And that's like the difference between the good and the great teams is the great teams win the games you expect them to win.
Yeah.
The good teams, okay, cool. It could happen.
Yeah. So if someone had told you start of the season that the Seahawks would be in serious danger of losing to the Jags, would you have believed them?
No, but they are. Like, the Jaguars' running game is starting to take hold before the bye week. So as long as they can keep their running game going.
No Wilson, no Carson, no defense.
Yeah.
And Alex Collins already had his good game.
And I think Urban Meyer's just going to want that collegiate matchup he always wanted.
Yeah, this does seem like if the Seahawks don't win, though, their season is gone.
Done.
It is officially like there's no
now,
from there.
Let me ask you this. If the Jags don't win, does Urban make it past next year?
I think he makes it through this year, and he gets another year to see how it goes. So then it would depend on how next year goes.
Okay.
Like they're not dumping him after this year unless he does wins no games.
Like 06 Detroit Lions bad? Where you went 0-16?
No, like we're talking lose every game and you're not even competitive at any of them. Bad.
Oh.
Like actually just getting steamrolled. That's the only way I see him being gone this year. Because even with everything else, it's a new coach with a rookie QB, a bunch of other rookies rebuilding. That alone gets you 2 years.
The Cleveland Browns in our lifetime. Okay, check.
Now,
all right.
If they do absolutely terrible for the rest of the year, and then he does terrible his first 4 to 6 games next year, then he gets dumped mid-season.
And that's when he gets back to Utah and starts recruiting. And
I mean,
damn it, I can dream. Okay.
Yeah, at this point, I would take him because I think my Whittingham has peaked.
Well, Whittingham, much like Carroll, it's like, yeah, the clock's running, but who do you replace him with? What do you really complain about? What do you find that thing where you're like, you're done, you're out, it's you're a good coach, but
it's a
you
shot
need
hammer
great.
situation. It's when you've had a coach who has been at that level for so long. It's like, okay, yeah,
Well,
you've done good.
actually,
at some point
one
you
thing
need to go to another level.
one thing those two actually have in common is they do really, really, really well about coaching for the underdog. Hey, we're the underdog. We're going to win this shit.
Yeah.
Here's why. They don't do well from coaching from ahead. Because how many years have you heard the Seahawks are going to win the division, they are conference contenders, and they fall short?
Top team in the
How
league.
many years have the Utes had that defense and an actual offense to say, hey, we can go win the Pac-12 South, we can win that, we can get into the BCS, or at least be a contender for?
Yeah. Oh no! Honestly, after the 2019 season, I don't know how anyone still has faith that Witt can.
Oh yeah,
if he couldn't win it with that team.
Oh. So I think those two share some things in common with that.
Yeah. So the Bucks Saints rematch.
I see Bucks. Look at the way the two teams are going.
Yeah, the Bucks are clicking. Saints are still up and down.
Yep.
Again, the difference between good and great. Bucks
It's
are
winning
right now
games you should.
Mhm.
I would go Bucks, but it's also one of those like, are
It's
the
a
Bucks
rivalry game.
clicking, or have they just benefited from some bad teams? Lost by 2 points to the Patriots, blew up the Dolphins, lost by 6 points to the Eagles, blew up the Bears. And before that, they got dominated by the Rams.
Do you win the games you should?
I mean, they should have, on paper, beat the Rams, or at least been competitive.
Well, I don't know.
Or
Even
at
on
least been
paper, the
competitive.
Rams-
They should not have been. Because, they lost by 10 points, but they did not lose by 10 points. That was a thorough shellacking.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm not saying the Saints will win. It's just one of those. The Bucks have not seemed like the same team they had last year. Yes, they have injuries.
That's because they're getting older.
But their front seven has not been getting the pressure they were getting last year. And while offensively they're still making plays, their running game has regressed, even though they, on paper, should be just as good. Like, offensively, they basically have the same team.
Well, that's because, and remind me of this next week, ever since Jerry Jones built Jerryland down there in Dallas, the Cowboys got soft. The Bucks have gotten soft. They don't have that hunger.
Yeah. That's
on paper,
in my feeling.
damn, they're great.
Oh, yeah.
On the
When I
field-
saw they re-signed basically the entire team, I was like, well, they better go on a run. They should just.
They should have. But
and
they
the fact that
lost
they have
the hunger.
Yeah.
And then they grew complacent and said, we have Tom. We have that goat. We're gonna hitch our star to his wagon and go, or our wagon, his star.
Yeah.
I don't know. Long day I've been drinking.
It feels weird to be saying this about a 6-1 team who won the Super Bowl last year, but it's still just one of those.
Right?
Like, really, the only great teams they've played so far is arguably the Rams and the Cowboys, and they're 1-1.
Yeah.
Actually, now I think about it, let's see. Yeah, those are the only teams they've played so far with a winning record.
They really are. And that Cowboys game was a hell of a game to start with, but
That was a good game.
you kind of okay. As much as I love opening week, about midway through the season, I start to throw away week one.
Yeah.
Because what part of week one is current truth?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Not much.
Saints Packers week 1 it's a good example.
Oh, God. Again, that's Roger saying, ground and find out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, then the other thing also, it's in New Orleans too. That's the other one that could also tilt things in the Saints' favor.
Because he threw passes so bad, he could have been a Browns draft pick.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bucs should win it.
Bucks, yeah.
Should.
Oh, here's
Should,
a fun
should.
matchup, though. Washington football team and the Broncos.
I would love to see my Donkeys win this. I'm not going to be shocked when they lose it.
I honestly think that one's a toss-up, really. Cause
Yeah, it really is.
you can make a case for either team.
Yeah, you really could.
Like, I think the only thing that makes me lean Washington is Washington's defensive line. And also, it's like, okay, I think we can name, like even as non-fans, we can name, like, the top playmakers for Washington. Right now, who are the top playmakers for the Broncos offensively?
So you have well, you have
you have Jerry Jeudy,
Noah Patrick, but yeah,
exactly.
okay.
That's
and the damned of it is, okay, the part that pisses me off, Melvin Gordon, potential playmaker. Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutherland, both potential play. Noah Fant has that deep ball down. Does any of it happen? Sorry, guys.
So yes, I think we understand why they are the favorites. Yeah, the Washington football team. Right?
At least why they could be.
Yeah.
he needs a moment.
he needs a breather. I mean, if it's any comfort, at least he doesn't have to watch his team lose in primetime to the
Sunday
Cowboys
night.
of all teams.
Yeah, that'll be painful.
And I think the worst part about it is what will happen is the Cowboys will get out to a lead. So the Vikings have to get away from the run game. And the part of the reason why the Cowboys will get out to a lead is the Vikings will be intent on establishing the run game. And then they'll end up in a shooting match where they'll be able to claw back because, by then I think the Cowboys will have backed up and they'll give up chunk yards. So everyone's going to say, look how great Cousins did with his 400 yards. And it's like, well, yeah, because the Cowboys will let him get the 400 yards.
So, totally non-football. Let's get a call from my wife. That's why I disappeared for a minute. Hey, there are 2 puppies running around. I have 1. Hi, Bells. 2. Hi, Daisy. Charlie's my little old bastard. He's downstairs. And a fucking polar bear.
So
and now I'm fearful
puppies.
she is going to bring home 2 more puppies.
That's
scary.
Very on brand for Rachel.
I love the puppies.
You guys need a much bigger yard.
About a quarter acre would be enough, Dalton.
Now when you want all the dogs.
Yep.
All the dogs.
You guys moving to Hurricane or Vernal where you can get a big old ranch.
if we won the lottery, running a rescue would be one thing. I'd have no qualms doing it because I don't know, I'd have a stupid amount of money and not have to worry about it.
Yeah, but it's hard to win the lottery when you live in Utah.
Because us and Hawaii are the only 2 states that disallow any form of gambling.
Yeah.
Personal
Speaking
pain.
of gambling, Giants Chiefs.
So,
it
actually would be fun to watch.
You know, I think Andy Pride has too much pride in his cheeseburger prowess.
I mean, to me, what it comes down to, I don't think either defense is going to be doing much. So it's who will make more plays on offense.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I just think it's a war of attrition.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Yeah, because who do the Giants have?
Daniel Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Their leading rusher.
Yeah, It works for Tennessee
I mean,
and Baltimore.
Yeah, that one seems like
I mean,
it should be the Chiefs running over it.
To be
Yeah,
fair, yeah, the Chiefs should run all over them. If they can't contain Peyton Barber, they're 9.5-point favorites over the Giants.
I could see that being like one of those 48-31 style games where it's
At the same time, I could see it being a 35-3.
I think the Giants would get at least a couple scores in garbage time.
Sorry, 6.
And let's be honest, if the Chiefs are up by 5 touchdowns, they're like, yeah, sure, you want to get a couple touchdowns, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I see the Chiefs actually doing something this week on that one.
Yeah. And hopefully it's Kelsey.
Because let's be honest, Andy Reid has a lot of experience in the NFC East.
Yeah.
So a bit weaker than it used to be.
Yep.
At least they're not the NFC least anymore.
Huh.
Yeah.
Said you have one shining star. You're welcome, Sandman. I'm gonna let you have that one. That one. Just that
Not
one.
even here to get it.
Nope.
That's fine. He'll never know.
Taking a bye week.
Well, it took a bit, but we got through all the games.
Yay!
We made it.
But it's what cost? What
cost?
Sanity.
It's about $350.
Yeah.
Well, once more into the breach, old friends.
I've spent way too much time in your breach. I gotta take a break.
You said you like Grand Canyons.
Yeah, Grand Canyons. Not lazy dells.
Oh, I thought you were going to say bland canyons.
Uh-oh.
No, you got some seasoning on those mounds, but
Look, that geyser is now bleached, and you're welcome.
But it's not as faithful as it once was.
No, I've strayed. But you like the new tricks I learned.
That's fair.
And this is family friendly, right?
I mean, we didn't
yes.
technically say anything not family friendly there.
It's fine.
No, we didn't. We were talking national parks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Perverts.
Whole point. Yeah, exactly. We're hitting that point in the season. Just need to drown the pain.
Yep. I have been too.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, y'all have fun.
Enjoy.
Later, all.
See
Enjoy
y'all.
Until, have fun with the polar bears.
Yep. Bye.